Sponge bath.
Sponge baths. The whole year?
All
Never,
the time.
never a bath.
Only in the Tisa River
Ah.
or in the mikvah.
But the little girls didn't go to the mikvah.
No, we didn't go. We didn't need to go to the mikvah, but I had a close girlfriend who said, "Come on over. You want to take a bath? Come on over to the mikvah."
Oh, really?
I was 13,
It was like a
14.
treat, probably.
Yeah.
So how did you take? So how did you bathe?
At home,
Yes.
only we had this room that was attached to another room in our summer home. That's what I tried to tell you. Our main house was here, consisted of 3 rooms, nothing like you guys know. Here was the yard coming into the front yard. Here was the non-kosher butcher store right here. And then there was
The butcher store.
Not kosher butcher store.
Oh, the not the.
we had two stores.
Oh, really?
Well, you can only use the upper part of an animal.
Right.
So therefore, the kosher butcher store was situated in the yard of the synagogue. There was one long building with about 4 different stores, and that was only kosher butcher stores.
It was several butcher stores. Were they attached?
I think yes.
Competitors?
There were a total of 3.
3 different butcher stores.
Yes. One was my father's.
Wow.
And so, but the non-kosher, you had to sell the meat out of the lower part of the animal.
Right.
In another store. You could not even bring it into this kosher butcher store. So we had a facility, a small little building with cement floors, which kept it cool, or ice in a very remote corner of the room. There was like an ice box with ice. And that was the non-kosher butcher store where my mother was running.
Oh,
that
really?
part of the business.
Wow. Interesting. I never knew. And that was connected to your house?
No, that was right across the walkway, the
I see.
driveway.
Okay.
So then, right after the butcher store, there was a gigantic tree of berries, eper in Hungarian you call it eper fa. Tree is a fa. So a gigantic tree, and then we had a well, a water well, where we brought up the water, having like a robe-like thing attached to.
This is where they got their water from, guys. Are you listening? There was
Was the best.
Was
water.
there a sink that you could turn the faucet
No way.
So how did you get the water?
By buckets, just buckets.
Buckets. They had to bring. So if you wanted to wash your face in the morning,
I would take a cup full of water out of the bucket
out of the bucket,
into a chisel, into
a basin,
bowl.
they
a
call
bowl.
it lavor in Hungarian.
Yeah. A bowl.
A bowl.
A bowl.
So then came the water, the well, the water well, and then came a plum tree, a gigantic plum tree, the most wonderful plums. And right after the plum tree, there was another building, and that was our summer kitchen, where my mother would not cook. And after Pesach, she would have all the cooking and baking done in the Zimmerkoch.
So it didn't heat up the house.
Oh, that's
The kitchen would heat up the house. That's how they would heat the house. They had a summer kitchen to keep the
Yeah.
house cool in the summer.
And then that little structure had a kitchen, a bedroom, and after the bedroom there was called in Yiddish a Holzkammer, where you kept the wood for to heat your house, because it was wood burning stoves.
Right. Makes sense.
And we also had chickens who used to roost on the
Oh, really?
come by late afternoon, early evening. They would come into that structure and stay overnight there. And So the only way I could take a bath or a
Whatever you call it, a sponge bath.
sponge bath is have the lavur put into one of the bedroom of that attachment and just sponge yourself up, and soap yourself, and that was it.
That was it. No shower, no bath.
No shower, no bed. Now, some people may have had bathtubs and showers who were well off, but no, there was no sewers to have.
The
You
drainage.
need to have sewers to have around, to dispose of that sewage. There was none. We had outhouses.
Oh, wait a second. Yaakov, are you listening? Where's Donnie? What is an outhouse? Do you want to explain to the boys what an
An
outhouse is?
outhouse is a wooden structure with a wooden seat, a big hole where you sat down, was male or female, the same, and very crude brown paper to clean yourself, and that's it.
Who cleaned it out?
And about once a month, we had a person come and empty it and spread it all over the garden
Oh,
to fertilize the grounds.
sounds fragrant.
But that's what it was.
That's the bathroom. There was no sewer. They
And
were,
the bathhouse was not close to the house. You had to walk, well, I don't know in meters, but I would say, as a matter of fact, that house should be claimed if communism ever disappears and democracy comes in. You could claim our house, you could claim Uncle Schleimer's house, you could claim my grandparents' house, which was fantastic.
oh, really?
But they didn't have the shower, they did not have running water. They may have had electricity, where we did not have electricity
You did not have.
because it was too expensive and my father could not afford it.
Did people have telephones?
No, the only communication that we could have is go to the post office, which was right in the middle of the town and it wasn't too big, is use the telephone system in the post office to telephone to XYZ in the other town who went to the post office knowing that there will be a call waiting.
And what about a car? Did you have a car? You must have had a minivan or a station wagon.
You must be kidding. I was on a bicycle flying like my father used to say in Yiddish. Ze neemt via fegelas. Ze fly via fegel.
Did anyone in town have a car? The mayor.
I'll tell you, if I remember well,
Not
there
in
were
Kiralyhaz,
two
but I'm supposed to
cars.
have a car.
And this is very interesting because
two-car town.
the car that I'm going to talk about is a Ford, a T model that you had to crank up in the
Hand
front.
cranked.
He cranked it up.
Who owned it?
A non-Jew,
I'm coming.
Mr. Koyan. He was some kind of an
No more
engineer
soda.
working for the railroad system.
No, I see.
And he owned a T model, which was probably built in the 20s.
Mm-hmm.
And every Sunday, he and his wife used to go to church. She was dressed.
You know who this is? Leah
Yes,
son.
Leah Gittela's son. Yeah, you look, you look like the Zickermans. That's no doubt about it.
Wanna come sit down and say hi?
And so,
She's telling us about the old.
what's your name? Come sit down and talk
Mandy,
to
this is
me.
Mandy. Mandy,
Your name is
yeah. Mandy.
Mandy. Okay. Nice meeting you. We have met before.
Yeah, I met you last time you were here.
Yes. Okay.
So when was the first time you were in a car? Do you remember?
I'm trying to. Probably not until our brother picked us up at the boat at the Pier 50, number 52 in Brooklyn.
Oh, after you arrived in America already.
When we arrived to America,
Wow.
he picked us up in a brand new Hudson, a maroon color Hudson.
Shmuel Moshe or
I
Mark
can
Twain?
never forget that.
Who? Shmuel Moshe or Mark Twain?
Shmuel Moshe.
Shmuel Moshe.
No, Martha, Lily, Esther, and I, we came
Came
together.
together, uh-huh.
The four of us.
Wow.
And he came to Pier 52. Every time I drive by, I point at the pier.
Really?
Yes, and
Amazing.
we were just bewildered and very tired because we were seasick, except for Lily. Lily wasn't sick, Martin's wife. Esther and I and Martha were terribly sick. It's one of the worst sicknesses, seasickness.
Traveling on the sea.
No, seasickness. Even though it was June, we arrived around June the 7th of 47. And the Atlantic is supposed to be pretty smooth at that time of the year.
Even a smooth ocean still.
Even 8 days, 8 days.
8 days.
The eye, everything is kind of blue and greenish to you. And the first time in Bremerhaven, when we went up on the boat, and they took us along, for a visit, like a tour. And they took us, it was the SS Marlene, a Navy boat. And they took us for a tour, and they took us into a dining area, round tables, with a huge buffet of the most colorful food that we have ever seen, and plentiful. And they said, that's where you will be coming at XYZ time to have dinner. And that was our first dinner and our last dinner.
Wow. Because you
First
couldn't
and
eat.
the last. Yeah.
Somebody asked me yesterday, someone asked me if you were coming to a new country with no knowledge of the language, what would you do for work? Like all these Jews who came to America in the 40s, after the war, what did they think they were going to do?
Well, we knew that our prospects are very low. So we arrived on Shabbos towards the evening. And Aronka, who was a Hungarian, her English was horrible. And definitely New York, Voik, there was no R in her vocabulary. And she said, on Tuesday we will go to an office and find Voik. Well, we had no idea what Voik meant. We knew
She spoke like that
she spoke
all her life.
all her
all
life.
her life.
Yeah. Boy Day, and she said in another few weeks it will be Lali's 5th Boy Day.
Boy Day.
We had no idea what she was talking about.
So what did you think you would do when you arrived in America?
We knew how to hold a needle in our
Okay.
hands.
Okay, that's something.
So she took us to the Garment Union, somewhere on 14th Street and near Klein's. Klein had a big store there. And she took Lily, Esther, and me to the union to find jobs. And the people at the union got contact with some guys who owned garment
Sweatshops.
sweatshops. Your mother got the best job.
What did she?
Esther was
Don't
sent.
ask how.
Esther was sent to a place where she was sewing in
Linings.
linings, and she was very good at it. And she made like $50 a week. I made $28 a week. I went to a place where a huge dusty place with dusty fans over us blowing, and the man was walking and seeing what if you are really working. And if you dare to talk to the next person to you, he would use the most vulgar words. Luckily, we didn't know what he was saying. Curse words. What the damn, what do you think you are doing? What am I paying for? And one of the worst experiences was getting into the subways in the morning. From Morrison Avenue on Westchester, we took the train into 42nd Street, and then we had to walk to 9th Avenue and 39th Street, something like that. I know it was 9th Avenue and 39th Street. My grandson says it's no more.
It's the Port Authority area now. That's where Port Authority
I
is, the bus
wouldn't know.
station. Yeah.
Now or then?
Now.
Oh.
Yeah.
Because I mentioned that my grandson lived on 10th and I don't know what avenue. He worked for Google at that time. He works still for Google.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he's a production manager. He's
Oh, wow.
a big guy. Yeah. And anyway, the worst part of our beginning, we spoke no English. It was as hot as HOT. The temperature, I don't know, and the humidity, we had to get used to the humidity, high temperature, and then getting dressed in the morning and getting into the subway on Westchester and Morrison. You know what I'm talking about.
Subway.
The subway.
And then what, at rush hour, that we pushed into the train, and I am apologizing, but men used to line up to the young women and practically touch their bodies, practically, and worse. And
It's the same today. It's the same today.
okay, I mean, they would eye you from top to bottom, make sure that you are right behind, that you are right in front of them. That was one of the worst things. And then I have to tell you about this. Came Shabbos, everything was. We stayed at Shmuel apartment for about 6 weeks or something like that, and they moved in to her parents. They lived. We lived on Boynton Avenue, and they lived on, I don't know. So on Shabbos, everything was fine. So Oronka said, "You are going to come over to my mother's and visit," and her father and mother. And they were staying there with Lali and Morris and Oronka. And we will have a nice time just relaxing in front of the house. So here comes the ice cream man on a bicycle. And she says, "Akartok fagylalt," in Hungarian, "Do you want some ice cream?" And of course, why not? Cones of ice cream. And so as we all lined up and we got our ice creams, and she says to me once, and she was this little, and she says to me, "Isn't this wonderful? Isn't this great? Aren't you happy?" And me, stupid, being so honest, I said in Hungarian, "If this is," I'm looking around to see who is listening. "If this is America, let it burn," I said. And she like had to jump up to give me a smack in my face.
Why did you feel that?
And I said, she says, what do you mean? Aren't you grateful for all blah, blah, blah? And I said, no. Work is very stressful. The boss doesn't even let us say a word to the person next to us. He screams, he yells and curses. The fans are turning dust. My blouse is black by the time I come home. Where we sleep in the hallway is as hot as hell, I said. I enumerated. Esther and I, we slept in the hallway in an opening bed. And Lily and Shmoyce and Martha took over the bedroom. Chulila was to go into the living room. Chulila. That was holy ground. And so we were very stressed out from all these things. And I did not expect to be American, anything like that. So I said in Hungarian, which sounds very crude, I said, if this is so, then let it. And she never forgot it. She threw it up to me many times.
Do you feel the same now?
No way. I think it's God's country. I think it's the greatest.
What changed?
My life is completely different. I mean, unimaginably different. Would we have not had the war, would we have not been taken away from our home, I probably would have never been in America. But
Nor would we.
I may have remained an old maid or marry a widower with who knows how many kids.
Why do you
And
think
the reason for that is because no girl ever got married in where I lived without dowry. And my father could have not afforded dowry.
Wow.
And you needed a minimum of 15,000 crowns or 15,000 fingers, depending on what country it was. Yeah.
So how did Mama Feiga get married?
Yeah, we heard a story.
I am not 100%, but I think that as Mima Sprinze knew it, Janko Schleumer's mother, that yes, he's getting dowry, a certain amount. I don't know. I don't want to say because I don't. But actually, in a quiet way, my father was told, don't worry about the dowry, as long as Mima Sprinze knows that he's getting dowry.
Oh.
That's typical life.
Was that common that girls did not get married if they couldn't afford
If they could not
dowry?
afford it, they would marry a widower
They didn't get a pawn shop.
or a bachelor, or remain single forever.
Wow. Amazing.
Yes.
Life has changed.
So life has changed. And what other topic do you want to hear?
Some of the